Hello, I'm Three Spades. Welcome to Rogue Planet 2 Devlog. This is going to be a quick one, relatively compared to most of my others, but I'm on the laptop now that the main computer's died. This is my older um, Walmart laptop, an EVU laptop, and it has specs here. It's a 10th Gen i5. It's got about 24 gigs of memory and GTX 1650 with 4 gigabytes of VRAM. And here's the performance. Here's the performance of the game. Decided to make this little tutorial level. It's just teaching you the basics of how it works, and if those of you who played the first game remember Control Point Alpha Hawk 1. This is forward operating base Alpha Hawk 1. You might start to know where this is going. I'm not going to say anything, but hey. Here's a simple boot camp, as you do with the likes of these Call of Duty, Halo types of games. And this is in the middle of forward operating base Alpha Hawk 1. So they teach you the basics of movement and shooting and moving and, how you combine all that good stuff. So here's your tutorials, basic little pop-up hints that tell you where to go, how to do stuff, and there's going to be some new features that are tutorialized in this as well. So here's how you climb a ladder, and basic stuff you would expect from most first-person shooter games, but you may be shocked by the amount of people who played the first game and had no idea what they were doing. So I figured I would keep it kind of simple, but then lean into more of the spooky stuff as you go along. Have other secrets and Easter eggs and polish up hidden area types of stuff. And as we can see, targets out in the open, you can take them down. And this also is another tutorial on targets you cannot take down. So don't expect to be wall banging anybody. I mean, it's kept fairly simplistic just for the sake of being casual. Don't expect to get shot halfway across the continent through a wall like Counter-Strike and all that stuff. So here you see you go from little point to little point. This tells you what everything is, how everyone starts. You may see a few changes, like for instance the HUD is now green. More to keep in line with that whole military theme I'm going for. And that's just a pet peeve of mine, I think, throughout, is so many games. They want to look distinct from one another, but they never do anything different with the heads-up display, and it's just so annoying. But throughout this, you can pick up these guns. Pick up those guns over there. Totally up to you. You could pick up whatever the hell you want. They're not just little props. You are able to use them. I am going to use, these guns. There are also the original guns that were added, thanks to Dylan and myself. We worked together on these. He did some really great work with all of the rigging and getting it all synced up. So here you are. Basically, there are a few, we'll say little things about this, these guns, the funky things. So this here is the AK-666. This here is the Imp-4. And they're hellish, renditions of guns from the future. And since World War II didn't happen, it's not called the MP40. It's called 9, alternate reality shit. Figured it'd be kind of fun. There's subtitles. You can feel free to, read them. I'll just briefly go over this kind of stuff. This here, of course, is demonstrating George, enemy types and stuff. So if you want to know some tips and tricks, you can feel free to look through this sort of stuff here. Big elephants, some of the other enemies. And as we can see, the dog still does have 3D hair. There's jellyfish. And, these are guns that are based on eyewitness mock-ups, descriptions and stuff like that. The monsters, they attack in single file, likely to hide their numbers. It's just little things like that I've shown about the lore, but I don't want to spoil too much, so that way you're able to discover it for yourself. This here's the fun part I wanted to get to. I've added new filters not just one filter like night vision. Because I love Call of Duty 4 and most of the Call of Duty games, especially from the Xbox 360 and maybe like early Xbox One. But one thing that just always bugs me about games these days is that you have no finer tuned controls over most of the post processing settings. So I've decided to add that. Here's VHS mode. There's a bunch of different filters you can just change in real time. Here's piss filter mode. So if you want the game to look much more like it's on Xbox 360 or came out in 2007, there you go. And it's also kind of slightly softer to kind of emulate the whole 720p look as opposed to the sharper, just kind of as is look to the base lighting, where the base lighting is kind of the way it is, so that way you can just pop on a filter, and there you go. Brightness, or let's say you wanted to press the down arrow, boom, now you got more contrast. Or let's say you wanted to press the left arrow, boom, now you got a super intense vignette around the edges of the screen. Or you wanted to press the right arrow to activate, bam, extra sharpness, and everything is all, way more dirty and detailed. But as a result, you get more anti-aliasing. But this is the kind of cool shit that I have been screwing around with and wanted to add because I felt it was important. I mean, here we have Rogue Planet 1 mode. It's relatively like the first game. I might need to add a lot more bloom, but as you can see, lens flares. I even got most of these optimized. The lights. Say you wanted to have action movie mode. For some reason here it makes it green. And that is exactly why I have added not just one action movie mode, but two. So that way on warmer maps, you can have your much more dramatic action movie lighting where everything has darker blacks and contrast and everything sharper. There's a slight amount of film grain, and of course there's lens flares. The lighting for this was sort of inspired more so off of Michael Bay. So basically, if you do mode 1 and then you do mode 2, this is so it accounts for the different kinds of settings. Like let's say it was blue or the map was more cold in terms of tint, you would type or you would press the backspace button and you would get the cool action movie. So that's action movie mode 1. Or if it was a warmer map like this, you would get the warmer map in the lighting that looks like that. So that way you have proper options. Now the reason why the contrast is kind of set low is, very simple. This is why I did this sort of stuff. Here's a bleach bypass mode to make it look more like a Linkin Park album or the likes of Call of Juarez, The Cartel, Dead Island even. I figure that'd be a pretty good one. Bleach bypass roughly. And of course there is a horror mode, so that way it could be like kind of black and white, like Friday the 13th or some, Frankenstein type of shit. And there you go. So we go into the next door. And here's tutorials on all the power-ups that get dropped by the monsters, ammo refill, spare change, medic, one-shot, and boom. And, use them wisely. So, speaking of survival, by comparison to multiplayer, it teaches you here that you cannot shoot the monsters in multiplayer, because if you do, well, they're just immune to your bullets, because if you are in groups of multiple people, they don't take damage. They also explode violently upon their death, but it doesn't seem to hurt you. If you're, say, in zombie survival, which the idea behind zombie survival is canonically your character was stranded and left behind, so, he's able to kill them, and the explosions seemingly are not the part that hurts them. It's just that they're filled with, like, hot gas and lava. So, boom, they fucking explode. Like a fucking violent hot air balloon. I figured it'd be pretty cool, science-wise, but if we shoot that, you can see, as I tutorialized earlier, this pops up as a falcon, because these guns don't exist. That was originally a UI error, but I decided to keep it in to kind of like throw people off. Like, let's say you are using this gun, or this gun, right? And since these guns can't possibly exist yet, because they're far futuristic, satanic guns, well, then it doesn't make sense for it to pop up on their feed as anything, now does it? Because it doesn't exist yet. You can't have an AK-666 in the year 2012. They don't even have fucking laser tech. So why is it popping up? That's strange, huh? Well, interesting. Maybe you'll find out. So, of course, here's how you melee. And, of course, you have grenades. And like I say, you know, you can use these filters at any time. You press a button, you can press it off. On, off. There you go. No loading needed. All just happens in real time. And that is exactly the kind of reason why I have these filters. Because I got all kinds of feedback. People said it was too bright, too dark, you know, too colorful, not colorful enough. So I was just like, yeah, you know what, fuck it. Everyone, just pick what you want. That'll be fun. So if you want to take that fucker out, there you go. Shows up as diced, too. Just figured that'd be a fun detail, but there we go. Now, of course, if I had the knives, I could pick shit up. But basically, last door you go to is over here in the corner. When all goes cold and all feels numb. How far will you go to save yourself? Do be warned. With every step you take, there is a price to pay. So don't you stray. Don't run far away. When lines of dead sand come for you after day. This is Rogue Planet 2, a game by Three of Spades. So there we go. Congratulations, soldier, you've completed the tutorial. Best of luck on your dangerous trek, and God bless you. So, here we are. Tony TVs. They're actually the name Tony. It's inspired off of a handyman who did quite a lot of work on my house over the past couple of years. Helpful guy. Helped us rebuild a deck and damn near half our fucking house. So, in honor of Tony, here's the Tony TV. Figured that'd be kind of fun. But, yeah, there we are. Basic tutorial. As well as that, I will show you another thing I added. And I didn't add too terribly much, but you will know it when you see it. So, first thing I added is a destructible variant of the Three of Spades map. And as well as that, I polished up some of the other zombies maps. So, you will be able to play this when the demo or the stress test is released. I just need to make a menu for this. I will have split screen later, and it's not going to be like what happened with Halo Infinite, where it's like, oh yeah, I'll have it later, and then never, you know, later never fucking comes, where they just tricked you. No, I actually will try to have it if I can. And as well as that, my plan for servers and online connectivity is basically the same way as Minecraft. Just connect through the IP. And if you can't connect through the IP, then you could at least, like, you know, have split screen. You could have a semi-playable game. And that's kind of my idea. It's not going to be perfect, but fuck it. Alright, so this here is a fun map. As I tend to do, I will release, you know, fun maps and just put them in. So this is an older version of the map, but there's a reason why. Hallelujah. So, yeah, this is before I did any optimization on, like, the trees or anything else. Just said, fuck it. Let's just blow up shit. So, here we go. So, Battlefield 4 kind of has the benchmark for building destruction, I think, in most people's eyes. It's kind of the standard. So, instead of blowing up one building, how about you blow up, like, 10? I know that's what I want to do. They all fall around in the sky. Some can even just fucking go wild. Like, it's... You know, this is the kind of shit I wanted to see with Xbox Series X and PS5. You know, mind you, with better graphics and performance, but since I'm trying to optimize for low-end and middle-end computers, this is why I do this sort of stuff. And as we can see, the lights and everything. Figured this would be a really cool map to add. Or I could just have a slight, you know, more destruction, other fun shit. Fucking go wild, you know? It's a video game. You could destroy the Aurora. Go over here. And there's another cool thing I'll show you. I get this sucker working. I'm gonna throw a grenade. Yeah. This is why I go God mode, because the physics I got in this shit are absolutely busted. So there's this Aurora. Blow up that Aurora. I'm gonna show you some other cool shit. And as you can see, 120 frames a second ranges from that. And since I'm recording, it's gonna also kind of go down to maybe 80 and 90. Now, granted, the entirety of the map is fucking destroyed, so you know I assume that would fucking happen. But it's kind of impressive it's even running this well at all on a laptop, 4 gigabytes of VRAM, 7 years old laptop. You know. Can also destroy this big ass motherfucker. He crumbles, you know, to the ground into pieces. You can just fucking shoot basically anything you feel like. Giant chunk of a building in the map. Huge destruction with physics. You can also destroy the light posts. I'll show you that. And this is a very, very highly performant physics system. When I destroy the shit sign, this big old oversized shit sign, boom. Want to destroy this. Harry Potter ain't got shit on me, because that shit's got lighting. And there you go, it even reflects in the ground in the puddles too. Pretty cool, huh? There we go. So when you bump into the shit, it moves around, it does account for player physics. Player movement, collision is taken into account. So if I want to go over here, boom, fucking shoot the shit sign. Falls to the ground. There goes the tree. There goes the lamppost. Well, if I don't miss. So of course I added this big sniper, the building demolisher. Does exactly what it says on the tin. Fucking demolishes buildings. Fucking flies off into the void too. It's a wonderful sight. Fucking shit goes flying everywhere. Now, you know, just for the sake of gameplay, it doesn't damage you if it falls on you, because that would be kind of annoying, but here you go. You could totally fucking destroy shit with a single bullet. Boom. Battlefield's destruction ain't got shit on this. There we go. So if I want to go over here, boom, there goes a wall. There goes all this shit. Boom, boom, boom. Big ass statue falls apart to pieces all around. And these dogs are still roaming wild, so don't get it mixed up. They didn't go anywhere. 130 frames a second, 8 dogs, bunch of physics, bunch of destruction, lighting, weather, particles, you name it. I mean, that's the kind of thing I do, and 8 players as well. This is why I do this sort of stuff, is because I figure that is a very, very fun video game. And that is the exact kind of shit I want to see and do. Just look at that. The map that was once a giant, like, floating, surreal city is now crumbled to the ground. I gotta find out where the hell the hitbox is on this motherfucker, but I'll show you. He can crumble too. There we go. Beautiful. Just had to get a little closer and shoot him in the crotch. And there he goes. His head is off. His fucking wings have flown into the void. There we go. Perfect landing. 10 out of 10. There we are. So yeah. Just fun little destruction variants of the maps. I'm planning on maybe adding some more ocean variants. Other stuff like that. We'll see. But speaking of ocean variants, I did work a little bit on zombie survival. There are going to be, I think so far, about 8 destruction maps for the zombie survival. If I fucking shoot this shit. There we go. Fucking building over here. This building you can't destroy because that would have totally crashed the entire engine. But to make up for one building you cannot destroy, you can, like, fucking destroy everything else out here. Now, this is just kind of a one-off I added for fun, because I figured it'd be kind of cool. This jackass is shooting me, I can still shoot him, so don't you worry. Collision at least in that... Collision at least in that department works. 100 frames a second, 110 frames a second, 90, 80. Like, the lowest this was going down to seemed to be like 70. So, it's a very highly efficient system. And, working on a fairly, you know, middle-of-the-road budget laptop I got from Walmart for, like, 500 bucks 7 years ago. I mean, that's the kind of shit that I know more people are probably likely to have is older computers with less VRAM. So, when I am accounting for the performance of the game, I'm accounting for lower-end computers that don't have the highest specs. Because if you want to play this game and get really good performance, you absolutely can do that. And that is exactly why I have optimized the VRAM usage, and exactly why the game has this lower fidelity that it does. I'm not going with this whole retro thing for no reason. It is actually to improve upon that sort of thing without going so over the top that it becomes like what's happened with Unreal 5 in a lot of cases. The problem oftentimes with Unreal 5 is simply that they don't optimize their models, and that's not a problem just with the engine, but it's very systemic, you know, across the whole thing. But here on Unreal 4, I mean, hey, you can still do this sort of stuff on Unreal 5. It's not dependent on just Unreal 4. But, regardless, that being said, I added a Colosseum zombie survival variant. This here is the coach gun. Bunch of shotguns, in fact. Bunch of fish, as it wouldn't be underwater without jet streams or fish. Want to buy this sucker. Boom. One-shot kill. I also absolutely improved the damage of the knife. The knife now, like, one-shots like crazy. Because it's another thing that bugs me oftentimes with Call of Duty and a lot of zombie survival games that imitate it, is they will imitate a lot of the aspects that I don't particularly enjoy, where the knife becomes fucking useless after, like, round 3. Like, why even give me the knife if it's not going to be any, you know, of any use? Like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, what I love about the knife in that game is that when you're playing Spec Ops Survival, you can just do this. You can fucking knife the shit out of them until, like, wave 35. Now, me, I think you should be able to always knife these motherfuckers. It's a knife. If they're coming up to you, chances are you're giving up risk, you know, risk-reward element for that. And, you know, wave 35, if you last that long, they're gonna be pretty powerful. They're probably gonna fucking one-shot you. So that's why the knife is crazy powerful here. But here we are, our fucking Pirates of the Caribbean's type of shit. Underwater Colosseums, Davy Jones's monsters are coming for us. Different Davy Jones, but believe me, if Disney finds that kind of shit to be too close to their fucking IP, they will have no problems fucking sending me to his locker. Not affiliated with Pirates of the Caribbean. Just watched some scuba diving videos and figured this would make for a great fucking little, you know, great little map here. Plus, like, who the fuck's making this kind of shit, right? Tropical, underwater, you know, overgrown fucking seaweed caves and, you know, arenas and shit. Half of my maps underwater, if not a lot more of them. You can see the ocean is up there with physics, lighting, normal mapping, tessellation, bunch of fish, giant schools of fish swimming around up above, jet streams of water coming through. Now, granted, it kind of uses, like, SpongeBob logic, where everything just, you know, kind of pretends like it's still on the ground, but You gotta take some fucking liberties when you're making a video game, otherwise the underwater sections just aren't gonna be fun. But there we go. There you go. And that is what I like about the shotguns, is you can just fucking chain the shit if you do it right. There we go. Fucking stab, stab, stab. Third one was just for fun.
It won't be the best if you surrendered.
There we are. You can also walk through the seaweed. It's not like a map hazard or anything. But you can also see that there's a bunch of dead jellyfish on the torches. Now, the build that I'm going to present will not have, like, jellyfish as an enemy that can go around the maps, but that is something I'm planning on. So here's Uncle Sam, the Patriots underwater. Of course, you can reload this sucker. Gotta be careful where you aim this sucker. There we go. Now, since this sucker's only got 2 shots, it's $100 and it fucking insta-kills, basically. That's my idea. Now, since this one's got more ammo, doesn't cost a whole lot. See, I'm like on wave 4 and I'm already able to afford it. But that being said, you want an improved version. This here is the Allen. Based off of my grandpa's shotgun. Now the Allen is a improved version that has like 10 shots. So an extended magazine shotgun. As well as that, there are some other shotguns around. This is the Marcus, you probably know it. It's the first, the gun from the first game. Remastered now in Unreal 4. I do want to show another thing over here. And this, I believe... Nope, it's not the one. But there is another one. I believe it might be this one. Yes, it is. So, I happen to quite enjoy a fun little practical joke, and so do too many game developers. So, unlike most skins in most games, this costs $0 and is basically a fucking shit cannon. And it constantly fucks with the music. So every time you get a kill, the choir resets itself. I don't know why. Sometimes it does that.
Your time has come.
You overload the fucking sound barrier with so much noise that the choir can't even sing straight. Like they have a little laugh, then they go back to singing. Great shit. Kaboom. So, of course, as I demonstrated, you can absolutely use the filters. You want to fucking add whatever the hell you want to add, feel free. It's as simple as that. There we are, VHS mode, horror mode. You want to add Rogue Planet 1, there you go. All real time. And since the practical joke is free, you know, it's a toy gun. Like, it's one of them, you know, based off one of those foam guns with the darts. So it basically deals jack shit for damage. But that being said, if you get an insta-kill, it's insta-kill, so hey, there's that. If you suck at this map, well, here's a practical joke for you. Have fun. They come out of the shadows. But the reason why I made it, like, all shotguns is because that way, you know, like, if you had a sniper or a machine gun, it'd be way too easy to beam these motherfuckers.
You must die.
So, since I don't want to fuck with that, have shotguns. Have a shitload of shotguns. Plus, I also needed an excuse to give you a shitload of shotguns and some cool map. So, there we go. Oh, there's a crash as well. Just a sec. Okay, and I'm back. That literally only took like 3 seconds, so it actually took longer to pause it than it did to reload it. That is the beauty of having a CPU that didn't die on me this time. So let's hope it stays that way. I would not like to have to rebuild the computer again or grab another computer because, I don't know, Windows shit itself and decided to die. So then, I'm going to show you the more complete version of Besieged. And, I mean, this is on a mid-spec laptop from 2019. It's got a GTX 1650. It's not really anything that special, but that's kind of the point. I mean, if I can't run this on a crappy laptop or even a, bargain bin laptop I got during a Black Friday sale, then what chances do you have of running it on a super fast computer? Now, granted, the computer I had was not decked out with the best CPU in the world, but that was, once again, the idea. It was an old laptop, well, not laptop, like desktop CPU from 2012. So, the point of that is to demonstrate just some basic shit that I find to be important. So, there we are. I finished up most of the lighting and sound design. Also made it a little bit easier to see. So if you use these filters, changes a bit. Well, there we are. You can hear the thunder. There's new music. So, time for some gameplay. So here is the blender. Zombies are coming in. This still is not finished. I'll do some more collision passes and other stuff like that, but you'll know it when you see it. There we go, Rogue Planet 1 mode. When I had the piss filter, there we go. Now is your Gears of War 2 there. We got 2007. So it's great for stuff like this. Or if you want to do something like that. Bleach bypass, Michael Bay mode. If you want to up the fucking gamma because you think it's too dark, well, there you go. It still does revert to insta-kill post-processing if you pick that up, though. So, it's not a perfect system, but I'm sure that can be ironed out. So there we go. Fucking guitar riffs. Let me show you the blender. Be fucking sick. World's pretty fucked up out there. I think it's time for a vignette. And an old phone, courtesy of the likes of most big tech companies. What if you took a phone, turned it into a gun? There you go. Two-shot burst kill. So yeah, the blender. This is a silenced pistol. Pretty cheap, but it does the job. Short ranged. It's just kind of a good, decent little gun if you want an alternative to the Deagle. And here we are. Two-shot burst, end of life. It's pretty awesome. You may find whatever settings you like work better for you. And that's what I love about, adding a bunch of these post-processing presets here that I have, is you can be totally picky and just go wild. I like this kind of look to it where it's darker and you can't see them out in the shadows. But that is what options are for. So before, I couldn't get the options set straight. But the idea is that the game looks a little too bright. Just a little. So, maybe this would be your look if you prefer. If not, you don't have to do that. Me in particular, soft spot for these. There's your more Xbox 360, you know, filter. Everything's got the piss filter, as I say. Now, originally the piss filter was a little darker, but since most of these maps were dark, I gave it a little bit of a gamma boost, gamma and gain. So when you're shooting them, it's a lot easier to see them, make them out from the background. So since I was using a lot of the later gen games as reference for that sort of stuff, it kind of, you know, one thing I liked about those early 2010s games was they would often have very intense dark shadows. So mimicking that properly was of importance. So there we go. You can still kick the corpses too. Say I want to have night vision. So there's our night vision. So then, show you some other guns. I got a few other fun toys here. Not that one. I think there's another one. There may be an Uzi, an alien Uzi that I've added. And I think you will quite enjoy it. Or not an Uzi, 9mm repeater, my bad. I like, you know, if every gun, you know, every game is going to have fake guns, I'm going to have some fun names for these suckers. Not just an Uzi. You know what an Uzi is. I call it a 9mm repeater. That stands out a little more. So that's the alien 9mm. Of course, there's also a sniper rifle. This here is based off of older builds of Rogue Planet, where there was a sniper rifle that was bolt action. That was still in the final game, of course, but it was eventually cut out in favor of the patrol carbine, which you can still find in a few maps. I like this vignette filter probably the most for this map, and that's the thing about adding so many filters, is every map has different lighting, so it's going to work better or worse depending on your maps. You know, so if you're playing in a nighttime, maybe gray map, vignette works great here. And, or hell, like even just gray's kind of stormy, if you will. Works great here. And that's also, as we can see. There we go. Bye-bye. Got him. Alright, so I'm gonna go up here. Should be another fun gun. Nope. Was not that one. There we are. Need to save up 10,000 to grab the hunter. The food's been set out to rot. A bunch of trees have gotten through the tent, so you can't get up there.
I will set you free.
So if they weren't after the food, what were they after? Uh-oh. Leaves are still coming down too. Just, you know. Great little details like those, I think, that are nice to have. As you can see, like, all the leaves still come down, even during the storms, especially during the storms, and, you know, lightning off in the distance with the thunder. And the thunder only sounds when it hits something, so most of this isn't even hitting anything, if you think about it. Or at least nothing you can hear. Spooky lights and sounds. And that's the thing too with the fire particles. So a fun little detail I wanted to show was when you actually kill them, they bounce off of shit. Let me go over to a higher surface. I'll show you with the stairs. I'll demonstrate with the stairs. So, the particles aren't just like some two-dimensional particle that happens and that's that. If I take them up here, upstairs, and I lure them up here, I'll demonstrate. So let's get the conga line of death. They're going to act as willing participants for my wonderful scheme here. Wonderful zombie experiment. Alright, so when I shoot them, there they go. See, they bounce off the floor, against the walls. There you go, see? And there. So, the particles are actually 3D. You saw it bounced off the stairs there and the floor. They do account for the world space, and that's the beauty of Unreal Engine. Is even with Unreal 5 you can still do that sort of stuff, but most people opt not to. Now, with Unreal 4, my reasoning for going with it is very simple. Look at that performance. It's very stable. It stays that way, for the most part. If it goes down, it goes right the fuck back up. And that is exactly what I love about Unreal 4. It works. It works. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's the way I see it. Use a simply working and well-designed engine for your needs. So then, I'm going to show you an overpowered gun. If you want to figure out what those suckers do, you can find out for yourself when you get your hands on this demo. Now, of course, I still need to make the menu for it. Need to figure out a few other things. It's going to be a solo demo, so just you as a single player are going to be able to play it. No multiplayer, no split screen, but those will be coming later. And here we are, the Alien 9mm. It's got a lot of ammo, and it's a fucking glowing alien gun. This funky ass, you know, funky ass sight on it. So I imagine the aliens would be using some quite different shit than we would. It shoots lasers. It's a radioactive gun. Weapon of mass destruction. There we are. So just cool little details like those. Figure it's kind of important. Let me show you what else I'm working on. Kind of rush through this a little bit, just so it doesn't drag on too much. Let's see, Besieged. If I'm not mistaken, it was Atlantis Rescue. No, actually, I was mistaken. Anyway, you will have plenty of time to get your hands on with this. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more thing. So, I showed you the TVs earlier. I will, if Unreal Engine cooperates, show you just a basic visual, because it's just been a little thing that I've added, but I felt it was, you know, once again important to sort of nail the look and feel. I had a bunch of empty tables in the Ocean Mall, which is the Frutiger Arrow inspired mall, the one everyone loves with the blue shit. It's in the ocean. You probably know it and or love it, I'm sure. And I just added a bunch of monitors, like the kind of thing I would see at you know, TV stores. Even added this pulsating like LCD effect, where These monitors will actually kind of flicker. As you can see there, they flicker to indicate that it's actually a LCD monitor or a CRT monitor even. And as you can see, even the tables have this effect now, so now they look more like a digital screen. This is the kind of stuff I used to see at malls like all the time. They would have like TVs that would play, and the advertisements are like some digital ocean or pictures or videos of that sort of stuff. And here we are with the computer monitor, the Tony TV. You can see it flickers too, and it shows that the desktop operating system is not working because this is Sparta, and that is exactly why the Metro UI doesn't exactly work. And that's pretty consistent, I think, just throughout most shit that tends to use that sort of design. You know, flat colors, hey, just saying. This kind of shit worked. Worked a lot better. It certainly errored out. It wasn't perfect, but hey, you know, this worked. So, still does. I mean, hey, putting this kind of stuff into Unreal Engine 4 and trying to dig PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and, Windows 7 type stuff out of the fucking grave and just give it some new life again has been, a goal of mine because I feel it is an important time to preserve because oftentimes it gets the short end of the stick, and I don't feel like that's fair. There's also little, departure arrivals. The last train left years ago. Pray that your death is quick. And this here, I've altered some of the sizes of these so it's easier to read. I'm going to kill you, and all the cake is gone. Portal references. But up here, I've added a city. There are billboards with Halo references and other funny things. I think other fun things I wanted to add because I felt like it would be cool, like it's some witty little thing that I add, but it's not, without substance. Like, hey, thank you for playing the game. And it's other things like, when was the last time a game worked offline? Just little things like that. I mean, hey, valid question. It's too bad not enough many, not many people will ask that, and they really should, I think. But yeah, I think that looks very pretty. I think it runs well too. And nothing really changed performance-wise. I mean, it's about exactly as you would think. It's just the difference is I'm not on a computer with a 12 gigabyte, you know, graphics card and a CPU from 2012. So, I mean, that system was definitely being CPU bottlenecked 100%, but I have got a new Xeon desktop that, if I'm able to get the power supply for that sucker, will be a wonderful workstation to get some more work done on the game. It was a Xeon, a Dell Precision T3600 that I picked up on eBay, so I believe that will suit my needs very, very well. I'm going to show you the last mall here, and then I am going to bounce, but as you can see, I've also added a city to this, and as we can see here as well, there are error screens. This fucking screen is gone. Totally wild. And, yeah, it pulsates and flickers too. All that jazz. So it looks like it's an actual digital monitor that's displaying stuff. I've also added some ladders here so you can get on these tables. Some of them at least, and you can snipe people if you felt like. You could just grab the sniper. Yeah, sniper's over here. You could grab that if you felt like, and you could just totally, if you wanted, like camp here in the back. But that being said, it's not exactly the best spot in the world because you're kind of open to whatever the hell, these guys will do up here. If you get up here, they can get you, but at the same time, they're spawners, and you see how it all evens out. So, even if you think you got a good spot, don't worry. The best spots in this with power positions, basically, you're out to the elements. So some lucky son of a bitch starts stun locking you with grenades, and to be fair, it's not much of a throw. They can totally get you. They can hide under the table, hide, behind a chair, and you really can't do shit about it. if you're up here. See, that's the thing. The power position, the sight line is blocked. You might be able to see them, but you can't shoot them if they're behind an object. So, it's things like that that I designed very purposefully. It's like Team Fortress 2 with the glass, right? I just made it so it's like if you see a person behind a object, like 99.9% of the time, you will basically not be able to shoot them. There are rare instances where it happens, but you can basically never count on it happening, like ever. So you're trained not to try and like wall bang anybody from behind, cover or some shit. You're not going to penetrate through the wall and kill them. That might not be how it works in reality, but since it's a video game, I'm keeping it simple. Because I already go through enough barriers trying to describe this shit to people as is because they've grown up on Fortnite or whatever and have all these pre-established, ideas of what games are allowed to be and what they're not allowed to be. So, keeping it easy for the newcomers as well as making it accessible for those who are returning to this, format. Which, hey, oh, this is so old and nostalgic. Meanwhile, I mean, they can play something from fucking 1982, and apparently that doesn't bother them. They're so interested in that. That seems so hip, cool, and new, despite that literally being older than 2011, which is the target of this sort of thing, or 2012. But, math. I mean, hey, if most kids these days graduate and can't even fucking read, God help them. But anyway, that'll do it for this episode. I say I want to keep it short, but whatever. Point being, just got some new shit done. Should be pretty cool. I hope you enjoy it. New maps, new details in those maps, more polish. You'll be able to get your hands on it here fairly soon if I'm able to make the menu, get that working. It should not be too terribly long, but that does depend on the state of the computer, upload speeds, whatever else, however I have to arrange it. I'll probably have to make it on itch.io in a few parts, depending on how it goes, but we will see. We will see. I don't know what kind of storage size it's going to be, but I mean, hey, as I demonstrated with this here video, even while recording, while running two instances of the editor, and I've got apps open and other stuff, 160 frames a second, 100 frames. Lowest I think I saw was maybe like 78, and just for like a split second at like a 0.1% low. So realistically, throughout this, even on a budget end, middle of the road, whatever laptop that has, roughly 8 to 12 gigabytes of RAM, if you were seeing how it was used, right? Like I'm accounting for 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is what it originally had. Let's say you're not like me and running two instances of Unreal. So basically, I'm optimizing for the likes of a relatively budget computer from 2016, slightly improved in terms of some clock speeds here or there, and maybe the CPU, but otherwise, a 2016 gaming computer with 4 gigabytes of VRAM, middle of the road type of stuff. That is exactly the kind of performance that I feel more games on this engine should strive for at native quality, not at upscaled, none of that trickery, no blurry shit outside of, the usual just uncanny way that Unreal looks, cuz that's not something I can really help without, you know, really doing a lot of engine development, which isn't what I want to do because I'm on Unreal to avoid that kind of shit. So, native 1080p, particles, weather, destruction, AI, physics, it's all still there. Colors you can change in real time, post processing effects, settings, tutorial, you name it. That is the kind of shit I am pushing forward, and I believe that is the kind of shit that should be a normal trend, not even just as some one guy experimenting, bare minimum. And on top of that bare minimum, I expect a lot of content. That's the kind of thing that goes above and beyond. And that content to be fun and of decent quality. Even if it's just a little map I threw together, it was like, okay, you know what, fuck it. I want to blow up all the buildings in the sky. Well, there we go. The buildings in the sky fucking fly like crazy into a shitload of pieces, or the trees totally fucking collapse in on themselves. Statues, they fucking fall on the ground. Dogs go wild. There's a massive fucking storm, lightning and rain and metal music. That is exactly the kind of shit that Xbox One was missing, and that is the exact kind of shit that, once again, they're trying to miss again with Series X, but I'm bringing back on the PC and better than ever. So, if that is the kind of shit you like me, the bro shooter, the army games, like it's Unreal 3, but with better graphics, more content, and better performance, Rogue Planet 2 might just be the game for you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to get out of here. I'm hungry, and I need to eat. And as you know, gamer's life is never over. Take care.